Welcome to the Nerds on Cinema Halloween Horror Fest. 31 days, 31 podcasts. Go ahead and take a seat. You'll be here a while.
Not so fast. This is Nuke Joss of the Nutty Bites podcast, here to let you know that this is not your normal Nutty Bites entry. This is the second year that Jason has provided us with some Halloween Horror Fest content. So Talk Nerdy to Me, Nerds with Voices, Nerds on Cinema, Nerds, his whole little empire has pretty much pod faded, and we've offered the Nutty Bites Nimlas Studios feed as a nice little home. He only really puts out episodes once a year, and they are the most looked forward to episodes anyway, the Halloween Horror Fest. So you will be able to listen to them here. This is not your normal Nutty Bites content, so there may be swears, there may be spoilers, because Jason's full of chicken and spoilers, and it might not be exactly what you're expecting. Give it a shot. See if you like it. If you want to avoid swears, you want to avoid spoilers, you want to avoid movies from Jason for some reason, go right ahead to skip this. But otherwise, please sit back, enjoy the Halloween Horror Fest with Jason. And there is at least one other episode this October coming your way. I want to thank Jason for providing this content, but also I'm really excited to have a place for some of this content to live. Thanks so much.
Well, what do we have here? Do my ears deceive me? Nope, they have not. This is the Talk Nerdy to Me podcast, Halloween Horror Fest 2025. 31 days, 31 podcasts. So, yeah, and I'm your host, Jason. Oh, Jen, well, she's doing what she always does, working. No, seriously, Jen is at work, and we'll be here. We've already been looking at some stuff. We got a list of things, but to get this thing kicked off, I want to do this. I've missed podcasting. I've missed being in front of the mic. I miss talking about movies and video games and nerdy shit. And I miss hanging out with my folks. I miss Nutty and Tech. I miss everybody. The Bathtub Mermaid, Shane, Sonorous Vox, all my folks. I miss them. So, with that being said, let's get into it. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about two movies. We're going to be talking about one, In a Violent Nature, and number two, we're going to be talking about Weapons. One of these movies I enjoyed. The other one I thought was a confused mess. Not that it was bad because of it, but if it had picked any of the three options for being a horror movie, any of them would have been good. But all three of these partial things together just didn't work for me. I think the movie was shot well. I think the acting was great in this movie, but it just overall did not do it for me. So, without further ado, let's get into the first film we're going to talk about, and that is In a Violent Nature, which, for me, is just a straight-up callback to one of the best genres in horror. Slashers, baby, and specifically my main man, Mr. Voorhees himself, my namesake, Jason, with the Friday the 13th franchise. Basically, you have a desiccated dead miner who, well, I guess I'll ask you the question, what would you do for a locket? Because you took this man's locket, he coming back from the grave to go get his stuff to come get his locket. And that's basically the plot of the movie. Nothing else. Some dumb college-age kids take his locket, and this guy comes back to fucking turn them into flesh origami. This movie's pretty gory. I'm not saying it's like Terrifier, which is just blood and guts. And by the way, I hate all three of those films. Just like, and a matter of fact, I think the Saw franchise is better than the Terrifier franchise, and I hate both those franchises. Shout out to Tech, because he loves Saw. But again, In a Violent Nature is just a Jason Voorhees movie set in the Canadian wilderness. And I really, really enjoyed it. My one issue with this movie that I feel hurts it from a viewer standpoint is the pacing. I think they wanted to make the movie feel slow, but not ponderous. And they did make it feel slow. This movie's only like an hour and 33 minutes. So this movie's not long. But the problem is, because they do that, like, the rest of the movie seems to drag and slow also. And I think that's kind of the tug of war you have to play when you try to do this sort of Jason Voorhees, I'm a slow stalk you Michael Myers style type stuff. And you don't want to do like he magically teleports somewhere and that's how he got behind him. No matter how slow he walks, you know, he gets there, right? But, I mean, outside of that, I really don't have any issues with In a Violent Nature. I think the kills are pretty fun. And also, some of them are simple, but they are swift. And what I mean is, like, a character tries to distract him at one point, and without hesitation, without looking around, without being even surprised, it's an immediate murder this man with a hatchet. So yeah, I think In a Violent Nature is a really, really good homage to the slasher genre. And it also highlights the fact that we are missing Mr. Voorhees right now in horror. Where the fuck is the Friday the 13th franchise? We've not seen anything since fucking, was it Jared Padalecki or Jensen Ackles, whichever one, the one that they called Moose in fucking Supernatural was in the last Jason Voorhees movie that I can remember, and it was garbage. So where is Jason? Where's the Friday the 13th franchise? What is happening? Where are all the 80s slashers? We got Halloween Kills, which I think that last trilogy was okay. I'm glad they got Jamie Lee Curtis back in the franchise. I'm really glad about that. But where are the rest? Where's Chucky? Where's Freddy? Where's Jason? Where's Leatherface? Where's fucking Pinhead? And the rest of the Cenobites. And by the way, that fucking Hellraiser that came out, I think it was in I think it was either before COVID or just after COVID, with the female Cenobite. They look great, but the movie sucks ass. Like, I don't know what is happening to horror. When did horror lose its teeth and forget that there needs to be tropes and stereotypes and bullshit? Because that's what horror movies do. But we love the camp. We love the cheese. And if you don't want to go that route, you can go Hereditary and scare the fucking pants off everybody. You can make everybody fucking worried about dark corners and shit. But you just cannot do what the next film we're going to talk about does. But before we get there, In a Violent Nature, I recommend. I think if you don't mind the feeling of it being so much slower than most modern day horror films, I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And to steal our ranking system from the Ghibli cast with Nutty Tech, I would say I would rate In a Violent Nature probably 7.5 bloody hatchet hooks. And so with that, we are going to switch it up to the second movie we're going to talk about here, which I've not seen anybody say they don't like it. I feel like I'm in a small minority here, but Weapons. I did not like Weapons. I thought Weapons had great acting in it. Rowan was fantastic. I think that, the lead actress, I can't think of her name right now, but I think, honestly, all the acting in the film is great. It's just that the film itself, when put together, doesn't coalesce for me. And I think the two biggest reasons for that is the way they told the story in a non-linear kind of add-on, like 3 story arc perspective. I don't think it works for this. I think the premise of the movie works great. The idea of kids just getting up in the middle of the night and running out into the streets and disappearing, I think is amazing and it's great. But it is not executed as well as I think it should be. And I probably should have known this from the first film this guy did, which was a Barbarian, which I also did not like because I felt Barbarian was super mean-spirited. There was just something about that movie felt mean and kind of oppressive and not in that good horror sense. Like, again, I keep going back to Hereditary. Hereditary is a fantastic horror movie. Hereditary is oppressive. Hereditary will fucking put you through the ringer. But that's what you go to that movie for. I do not know what someone would go to Weapons for. Like, the messaging, the analogies, all the communication, and I think that's the issue. Making a movie without a concrete direction, purpose, and or concept leads to ambiguity, which allows people to talk about it and theorize, but I'm sorry. Tell a fucking story. We just talked about In the Violent Nature. Yeah, there's not much plot, but the story is college teens take this magical locket off a grave, the dead miner comes back, you learn the lore of this dude as the movie goes on, and he murders people. And then at the end of the movie, it ends with either the dude dying or him getting the locket back, killing all the teens, and going back to his grave. Whichever ending happens in that movie, it told a story from start to finish. Weapons does that, but it goes from hither and yon and over and there, and it dilutes its story to the point where it just doesn't really exist. Or you're just tapping your fucking foot waiting to get to the point. That is the major issue I have with this movie. And it's because certain scenes in this movie just do not work. They just do not work. There is a scene in Weapons where a character, obviously not being himself, slowly and creepily waves at two people to come inside. It is an obvious scenario of you don't do that. You don't go in there, you're like, what the fuck? But also, this character is a cop and has for some reason been in this home all day from daylight till the night. And no one radios him. No one looks for him. No one even looks for the cruiser. Like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. And I could understand it if it was like a satire, if it wanted to poke fun at certain things. But what does that even do when the characters do not even act correctly in the reality of the movie you're in? Or at least that's how it comes off to me. Like, if you wanted to make this, again, in a dark, dreary, oppressive horror film, the Brolin character absolutely would do that. If you wanted to tell a story about the deterioration of a woman into addiction and madness because of what happened to these children, you could also tell that story. You could even make a satirical horror movie about the cop in this movie and the fucking audacity of him having done certain things to characters in this movie, but you don't do that either. Like, it is honestly just a bunch of gobbledygook thrown together, and people call it avant-garde and amazing and the best horror movie of the year, blah, 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 blah. No, fuck off. Weapons fucking sucks because it did not choose a path. You cannot rest a movie or a story on ambiguity. Look at the Harry Potter books. Look at the Harry Potter films. Yes, it is a fucking 7-book series, but that does not mean each book is not a contained and done story. Weapons is like listening to someone read you their rough draft, but they haven't clearly figured out the end yet. This movie needed another round of rewrites, maybe a little more polish when it comes to the lore and the story and kind of the direction. Because again, this movie just feels not put together. It does not feel like it should be. After you see how well he put together Barbarian. And I don't like Barbarian, but Barbarian is fucking better than this movie by leaps and bounds. And one thing, before I finish up here, one thing I want to talk about, and this is in for any horror film. No one gives a fuck about the heroes. These movies are made by the villains. It's why Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, Jigsaw, fucking Pinhead, Chucky, Leatherface, Michael Myers, all of them, they're iconic. Darth fucking Vader. They're fucking iconic. Weapons villain looks like someone's grandma with dementia tried to put on makeup. It ain't creepy. All it is bullshit. It's not even fucking funny. In a cheesy, like, goofy way, it's not funny. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't give a fuck the flack I get. Killer Pinata is a better put together, written, orchestrated, and done film than Weapons. Because it's clear, to the point, and you know what you're getting when you get it. People might be complaining, and I haven't seen this movie yet, so when I go see it, I will definitely come back here, even if it is post-Horror Fest. But Jordan Peele, him, I kind of know what I'm going to get with that movie. I know what I was going to get with Nope. I knew what I was going to get with Get Out. I knew what I was going to get with Us. Well, not really Us, but But the point of the matter is, they are clear, concise, and to the point with their story. It doesn't mean they don't go here and there and do these other things, but we know how this is going. And not to say we know every point on the map, but there's a clear direction we're going. Fucking Weapons does not do that, and it does not anchor its movie on an iconic, scary villain. In fact, fuck that old lady. I think it's one of the worst fucking horror movie villains I've seen in a very long time. Very, very long time. Whereas Johnny, in A Violent Nature, the miner himself, has a goofy looking mask on, but he doesn't fucking speak the entire movie. He's fucking creepy. He's ominous. He's always walking, always going forward. He is a literal creeping dread across that movie, and it works. It does make the movie feel slow, but again, if that was the point, it worked. It might hurt the viewer a little bit, but it worked. Nothing in Weapons, when it comes to the orchestration of the story, how it was put together and how it ended, and also the villain's reveal, none of that worked for me. The actors, I think, the cop, the main female protagonist, and the Brolin character are well acted and well done. I think there's depth to those characters. I honestly, take the horror out of it, this would have been a great small town drama. Low key. But being utilized for a horror movie, it ain't that good. Matter of fact, I would probably rate Weapons, I don't know, a 3 out of 10 Naruto running kids in the AM. So yeah. If you want to see it, I would love you to see it and tell me what you think. I didn't like it. I would also suggest if you don't like Weapons, check out Barbarian, but even that, again, I felt it was mean-spirited. I would highly recommend In a Violent Nature over those two films. I would recommend Killer Pinata and Bride of Killer Pinata over both of those films, Barbarian and Weapons. So, on that note, man, it's been a minute. And on that note, this has been the Talk 32 Podcast Halloween Horror Fest, and you can probably find everything we do over at nimlost.org, because I don't have a site currently. Yeah, I'm just getting back into this, but I wanted to do this and get it done before I head into work and do some things. So yeah. See you guys. Take care.
Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlast Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlast.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.